set up correctly here, so give me a second.
Hello.
Hold on, everybody. Let's make sure you can see what I'm doing here. All right, awesome. I did it right, you guys. So as you know, I've been making these fun little cards. By the way, I use these Strathmore. They are 140-pound cold press. Hi, Julie. And hold on one second here. Okay. These are the 140-pound cards. They actually fold like this, but I'm just going to lay it out flat so that it works a little bit better. And hi, Tina. Hi, Susan. Susan. Are you seeing anything? Because I can see me on my screen, but oh, okay, here we go. Yay, I got it. You can see what I'm doing. Okay. So what I wanted to paint, because I had a few of you ask me about these. So I'm going to go kind of slow through how I painted these. Really fun, you guys, little mistletoe. And I've been making these cards. What I'm going to use to paint, by the way, today is I just happen to have these sitting here. So these are my Paul Rubens. I'm going to go ahead and use those. They're really similar to those MeiLangs, you guys. This is just their professional line. You get this handy dandy little cloth, which I've used when I'm traveling to kind of wipe my brushes off and such. So I'm going to use these today. Here's all the colors. So pretty. They look like little jewels, don't they? Hi, Carol. Hi, Sheila. Okay. I know. I'm so excited, Julie. I got it right the first time. Sheesh. I'm going to try and do more of these lives. That way I get a little bit better at them. So let me go ahead. Again, I'm using the Paul Rubens. This is their professional pan set. But you guys, I'm telling you that the MeiLang set made by Paul Rubens, hey, Peggy, is awesome. It's just the same. The difference is the MeiLangs don't have that light fastness. So just an FYI there. And these, again, are those Strathmore cards, which I love because let me show you the envelope real quick, and then we're going to start painting. I hope some of you paint with me, by the way. I'm just using the 8 round. Let me show you the envelope, though, because it's really nice. Well, I'm lying. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So I've been using these for years, but look at that cool little edge. Isn't that fun? Hi, Bridget. Oh, so fun. Bonjour. I'm so glad. I've never seen you on one of my lives. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, again, just using my 8 brush, we're going to paint this nice and easy. I love these for cards because I can make several of them. So for me, that's a win. So I will fold it right here, by the way, but it's just easier to paint when it's flat. All right, so let's get started. Let me find my little palette here. I think I'll use this one because these are the same colors. So these are the Paul Rubens, by the way. I just put them in this palette. So let me get these a little bit wet. And use your favorite green, but you guys, my favorite green is just that sap green. And I think I actually have a little bit of sparkle in there from the other day when I was painting. So you might notice a few little sparkles in there. That's what that is. All right, I didn't even draw this out. I just did this spontaneously, kind of freehand. Let me make sure. It looks like my camera's a little crooked. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I've got my 8 brush. I'm going to go ahead, get that wet, and let's just, I always anchor my hand. I'm not a painter that can float my hand. My hand just isn't that steady. So I always anchor my hand here. And I'm going to go into Hoping you can see that. Tap, tap, tap. And I've got, look at how much my paint is moving. I hope you can see that. So that's about 50 water, 50 pigment there. And let's just go ahead and start. Let me get this in front of me so I can basically do the same thing. We're going to use some different values, just meaning this has more pigment than these, and it creates that beautiful depth. So very light pressure. This is where, you know, practicing those brush strokes is really important, you guys, because you're going to get that feel. And to me, so much of watercolors is about that feel. So tap, tap, tap. Look at all that comes off. And light pressure, holding my brush about 2 o'clock, because the more you hold it horizontally, you're going to bring in more of the belly of the brush, which is going to give you a wider brush stroke. So starting up here, coming down, and that'll be our kind of that middle stem there. And while that's wet, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of the dark green, so the olive green, because I think, or you know what, let's do this, you guys. Let's add in a bit of that red. I like adding in some of the red of the berries we'll put in with my stem. So like when I'm doing a flower, I might add in the flower color. There we go. And then let's bring out another stem here. Oop, that isn't very dark, is it? Let me get a little bit more green. And this is that sap green, but you know, use the greens that you like. You may like a different green. Another one right here. Look at that already. I love it. This is their sap green, by the way, which is really pretty. It's like the MeiLang palette, you guys. I'm telling you, it's so cool. And then right here, I'm just going to start, point, press. See how I'm opening that belly? Like that. Other side. And we've got our first little leaf. And then right here, let's do another one. Point, press. And maybe we make that one just a little bit smaller. And then I just use the tip of that brush. That's why it's so important to make sure you really give the tip of your brushes, you know, that love. There we go. And I'm going to just put a little water on my brush. Tap, tap, tap. And let's do another leaf coming out here. Point, press. Very light value. Look at that. But how cool is that? Because all these leaves have different values, meaning lighter and darker. And what that does is it pushes them back or brings them forward. So I'm just going to go through one more time. And that has a little bit of the light green in it too. So let's keep going here. Tap, tap, tap. I'm always tapping off my brush. And let's come out right here. Point, press. See, I'm opening that belly and swinging it around. And then I just use the tip of my brush again, just like that. All right, back in, tap, tap, tap. Let's create maybe one coming out here, over here. There we go. So they're all just a little different variation and hue, aren't they? Doesn't that make it so fun? I'm going to add in just a touch more of that green. Let's have one come out up here. Point, press, and we can always go darker. So I tend to always start lighter because I can always darken up those leaves. And then maybe I want to keep room for some berries in there. We got to have the berries. Another green here. I hope some of you are painting with me. I know I didn't give you a heads up I was doing this because I kind of never know. And maybe just one more leaf coming out over here. I think I'm going to add some of that lemon green. It's so pretty. I think they actually call that tree green. Let's see. Well, it's in Chinese, so I'm not sure, but I think that's lemon green or tree green. It's in your MeiLang palette too. And let's just come out over here. We could even cross over that if we wanted, but how pretty all those different colors, isn't it? Let's go again. There we go. And I think this will be my last little leaf, and then we'll go ahead and start plopping in those little berries. Actually, you know, I don't even know if I want another leaf. Okay, I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. So rinsing my brush, let me grab my paper towel. Just tap that off. And really important when you're going from green, everyone, to red, to make sure and tap it off, because you want to, you don't want to go mix green and red. That'll create like this kind of muddy color. And then I'm going to use their red here, put a little bit in my palette, that red, really nice berry red. And I'm just going to kind of bring my brush about 3 o'clock and like that. And we've got 3 berries. I need just a little bit more water on my brush. And how about we do one down here, like that. Another one, let me get a little bit more red. So I'm kind of eyeballing this, and I want to do like a zigzag. So I've got one here. I might come over here and do a berry. So it brings your eye kind of back and forth. And then maybe up here, a few little ones like that. So very easy. You know, I like to come up with easy cards this time of year because I want to be able to make a lot of them. I want to get everybody a card. So here, 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 maybe one more right here. There we go. Notice I just, you know, kind of just do that automatically. I leave a little bit of a white space in there. And then let's create a red bow. What would be really pretty, you guys, is those MAB golds or silver for a bow, but I'm gonna go ahead and just do a red bow here. So I can still use my 8 round brush. And let me just make sure, okay. And point, just using the point, as I move around, I'm applying more pressure and come around. So it kind of looks like maybe the fold of that bow. And then let's do another one over here, tip of my brush, tap, tap, tap. And around the edge, and I apply a little bit more pressure, just like that. And we've got our little bow. So cute, right? And we can do some little... Tina, by the way, I sent out your cards. So you should get those any day. I noticed they did start moving. Okay, so there we go. Look how easy that is. Now, if you really wanted like some drama, you could darken a few of those or add some bling. I'm going to do both just so you kind of see. So let's use a darker, let me see, which one is that? Oh yeah, look at that. This is kind of I bought this last year, but I haven't really used this. So see how it does that? It kind of beads up. What you can do with that is lightly sandpaper this, and you won't get that type of effect. But let's darken up a couple leaves. Oh, you're welcome, Tina. Do you use a completely different brush or tool when doing? No, I don't, Carol. Good question. I just clean them really well. What I will tell you what does happen if I don't clean my brush enough, some metallics are sometimes caught in there, or like, I don't know if you can see here, but in my palette, there's a few remnants of metallics. It doesn't really bother me. I think kind of up to you. Okay, I'm going to darken in one of these petals or leaves just so you see what a difference it makes up as far as the depth and interest. So point, watch this. Look what happens when I darken that leaf. It just comes right out, doesn't it? So maybe we want to darken this one here. So let's go back in. And I am using a darker color, but I'm also using more pigment. So now I'm probably, as you see, I'm dipping into my actual pan and about 80% pigment, 20% water. So I'm definitely getting a darker value, which darker values are going to pop forward for you. So let's just darken this leaf right here. So light pressure, look at that thin brush stroke. Start applying pressure and kind of using the tip of my brush. There we go. It's so relaxing, isn't it? Now, I don't know if you can see, but there is a little bit of sparkle in there. And what I wanted you to see, though, is how that really creates some interest. So in your paintings, I always try to, for my colors, like here is green, I try to create 3 different values of it and get all of those in here. I think what I'll do here is this is the MABs. Now, you don't have to use this. You could maybe mix a yellow green or something like that. And we're almost done here. But I'm going to use, this is, I think this one in her collection, I've painted over the tag, but I think this is called Beetle or maybe Hummingbird. So let's just do that. And with the metallics, I use them a little thicker versus with all the water. Hi, Josh. How are you? Okay. Oh, I've seen your handle on there. Good to see you, Josh. So I've got that metallic on here. Let's just, I think I'll put it right here. And it just creates some interest. Now, when I move, look at that. Isn't that pretty? So something really simple like this. Oh, you're a former cartoon artist. How fun. Carol, that's because of how I'm using it here, but look at, can you see that better now? And in person, you know, I have to tell you, a lot of my followers that have been with me for a long time, you know, it's me, myself, and I really for my channel. I do everything myself. I'm not good at editing. I'm not good at camera work still. I'm still kind of learning. So, oh, hi, Mary Beth. You know, I hope maybe someday I can afford to have somebody helping me and do some of the camera stuff and fancy things. Okay, there you go. So I hope you can see that. You know, but right now it's me, myself, and I. Now I'm about done. I think what I'll do around this, gosh, if you knew how to do calligraphy, you could totally do some calligraphy here. I think that would be really great. And I'm almost feeling, I wish I would have done maybe one more darker leaf. Josh, by the way, my dad always thought I should be an illustrator. He always said, you would be a good illustrator. But to be honest, I don't have the patience, I don't think. Okay, so there we go. And I think I'm about done. Like I said, if you have calligraphy, you could write down here below. I don't. I'm not that good at that. I'm going to go ahead and get some green paint. One of you asked me to paint this. I did a short, which was really quick, so I hope that helped. And let's just do a few sparkles here. Not sparkles, splatters. And it's just simple, just like that. So there you go, you guys. I wanted to hop on, say hi to everybody, and paint that. Well, thank you, Carol. I really appreciate that because, hi, Ernap. I just pulled out my paint. Thanks for I love this. Oh, you guys are so sweet. As you see, I make tons of mistakes on here. I got bloopers, I got blunders. My camera work is not the best, but you know, one of these days, I hope I can get a little help. Like I said, it's me, myself, and I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate those of you that have really stuck with me. I know I've definitely had some growing pains, and I still am. But, you know, let's keep having fun. Let me show you really quick before I sign off, you guys. I have some of these cards I've already shared with you. So this is an up-and-coming one. And this is going to be about it. Look at this one, you guys. We're going to make this. You won't believe how easy this is. So we're going to make that. Oh, thank you, Carol. Yeah, I like that too. Oh, that's the same one. I made a couple of those. We're going to be doing this one. I'm so excited. Look at this one, you guys. Like, is that so cute? I had so much fun with this one. I don't think I've shared this one yet. We're going to do that video. This one, I don't think I've shared this one. So there you go. These are some up and coming. That'll probably be it for me. After that, I'm going to go and maybe do some little Christmas flowers and things. All right, everybody. I love you guys so much. Thank you, Mary Beth. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Tina, Carol. You guys are the best. I love our little small community here and getting to know you all. And if you want, I'll look up my Strathmore cards link and, you know, check them out. They're really pretty cool. I like them a lot. All right. Have a great day. I hope to get back on another live this weekend. And I'll see you guys soon. All right. Happy painting, you guys.